Hello everyone, welcome back to Verbal Vomits episode 2. And today we're going to talk about a few things, mainly Netflix, movies, and also upbringing as a child. So today we are joined with a special guest, but before that, I'd like to introduce myself again. I'm Gibson, and joined together with my co-host also, Mark.
What's up, guys?
Hi, and Zheng Hong, which will also be our guest.
Hello.
Yeah. So what have you guys been up to, like recently? Mark, you go.
I haven't really been up to much this week. It's been like a very okay week lah, to be honest. I've been taking this course for real estate, like selling of real estate lah. So hopefully with this course, after I get a license, I can probably sell a few houses and make some good income to pay
Yeah,
off my
hit him
university
up,
fees.
guys. He's
Yep,
not,
hit me up, hit
certified
me up.
yet. Hit him up, man. At Mark the Bong, I always have to plug that.
It's just a backup option, just in case like things don't work out. I can just like make some side income. How about you, Zheng Hong?
Me, I'm still stuck in NS. I just got out of camp not too long ago,
Oh, Adilo.
and I'm about to go back in again in 2 days time. Yeah, so it's been a pretty boring week for me.
Wait, what do you do in NS?
I am in Tuas Naval Base, guarding the.
Okay, no
To
no
put
need
it
to
bluntly, I'm guarding their gates.
guarding the gates. Okay. No need to
he's,
reveal
just,
any
he's just
confidential
trying
thing.
to find a. No, he's just trying to put it in a
Not
very
really
nice way that he's a
glorified.
glorified security
Yeah.
guard. Okay, we all know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just move on to the show. Okay, so today we'll mainly touch on Netflix and movie series first. So just be our background. Two people out there that's listening that don't know what Netflix is. It's basically a video streaming platform for people like us and nothing to do. We like to binge watch like a whole series or even weekly lah. So basically, you can watch Netflix originals or even some shows are ported into Netflix. So but before we even go to Netflix, which is quite current, right? What about movies? So growing up, I'm sure there's some movies that's really stuck in your head, and there's things that you really like can't forget. So like, what are some of the movies that you guys like really love as a child? Why don't we just start with the guest, Zheng Hong? What do you have
As
any
a
movies?
child, unforgettable movies.
Like, and maybe
I'd
like
say
things like sorry.
them would be animated movies since I watched them growing up.
Any animated movies
that
like?
often. Batman movies. Those animated movies. I really love animated movies when I was younger.
Is there any movies that really
love them
impacted
now.
you as a child? Like really
No,
like this
there's no
movie
specific one,
okay.
big one, but just as a whole, I watch almost every Batman movie,
Oh,
especially the animated ones. Legit.
well, that's quite a fit though, to be honest. God damn it.
Like
The
the
only-
recent one, there was one called Batman Ninja. I
Right?
don't know if you guys have watched it, but it's quite a pretty interesting concept where Batman goes to Japan.
Oh, I've seen that shit.
Yeah. I
Interesting.
think I actually heard from a few places that like it started off good, but then it kind of fall off at the back. So I didn't actually give it a try lah. Maybe I'll do it someday. I don't know. Right.
If you can watch it online for free, then yeah, it's worth a shot lah.
Hey, we gotta do it the legal way.
Yeah, gotta do it the legal way, man.
We gotta do it the legal way.
As in, we have means.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So okay. What about you, Mark?
Alright, I don't know if y'all share this similar like love for Disney movies as me, but as a child, right, I loved watching Disney movies growing up.
Well, you're gonna be best friends with my girlfriend, man.
Yeah,
She's crazy over Disney.
I freaking loved Disney movies as a child. Like Mulan and all that. Toy Story. For me, right, when you mention all these movies, right, I can just recall to the days where my cousin brought me to the cinema and we watched together, and we just really enjoyed all these movies together as a family lah. And
Mm.
I feel like it really helped me with my upbringing, like become the person I am today. All these movies slowly shaped me into the person I am.
Yeah.
How about you,
Okay,
Gabe?
actually, fun fact, right? Like, you talk about Disney movie. Okay, going back to Zheng Hong first. Talking about animated movie, there's only one movie that I can recall, like when I was young and I did watch, right? Was Spirited Away. I don't know if you guys watched this. I think it's
Away.
super common.
I
Like-
haven't watched it. I
Common.
haven't watched it.
Oh wow, how is that even possible? Come on, Spirited Away. Come on,
Eh,
guys.
I don't know. I never watched as a child, but I catch it like occasionally nowadays. Like
I get
anime
it. But
movies and all
okay,
that.
anyways, but Spirited Away was one of those movies that I like growing up. It was the movie among like my family and friends, and it was like everybody was just watching it. It was like the fuse train was strong. Like after you watch that, it's just like why fuck this. Why am I so sad? Like after you finish the movie, and apart from that, okay, like a fun fact about me is that I didn't really grow up with Disney, and I think a lot of people is like, what the fuck, Gibson? Like, what are you doing for life, right? Like when we just recently I came back from Japan and I went Disneyland. And I mean I know some of the characters, right? Like Mulan, like the typical Disney people like Aladdin, all those. Like I know them, but I didn't particularly watch them. So when I when I went to Disneyland, it was kind of a like, oh my god, it's so cool, but I don't really get it though. Like, that kind of thing.
Yeah, for me,
And
I loved all of them. Like,
yeah, and it's amazing how like you guys even remember till now. Like if you ask me what I ate like just now, I so really sort of forget already,
all these.
For me,
You were saying, sorry, Zheng Hong?
Yeah.
for me, it wasn't that memorable. I know I've watched every single of those movies, but it's just passed by. To me, it just passed by.
You're gonna anger a lot of people right now, so
I don't know. I maybe
Yeah, but
it's to each his own. For me, I love Disney movies and I love all their songs. Whenever I can, right, I just practice their songs on guitar. I just sing along. And
mm.
if their songs are being played on TV, oh God, you
Yeah.
hear
Okay, but to
karaoke
be
version of
fair,
Mark coming out.
I have been catching up lah. Like I recently watched Mulan. I recently watched like okay, even though it's not that old, like Brave or those. Because my girlfriend is a crazy person when it comes to Disney. And I would say air quotes I'm being forced to, but I really enjoyed it. Like really enjoyed it. I understand why it's actually like really quite legit. So
They
yeah.
say
Okay,
Frozen is
last
for
time
little girls. No, it's not true.
it's
Frozen
for
is for
old men.
men. It's for brave alpha men.
Yeah, man, we got like, come on, man. Would you like to play with me outside with the snow?
Let
Like-
it go.
you're a snowman.
Okay. So just to move on, okay, like just to pick up pace, right? So any other movies like recent years, like last year, this year, that any movie that really strike you very hard? Okay, I'll start with myself. Okay, so back then I think it was 2016, if I recall correctly, was when Revenant was out. Okay, let me hold up. Anyone know Revenant? You guys know the movie?
Nope, I haven't
The
heard
one
of it.
about murder, right?
No. Okay, Revenant is basically about this Leonardo DiCaprio, and it's also the movie that made him get an Oscar.
Oh yeah, okay, the
Fun
bear
fact.
one, right?
The bear one, yeah, right. So it's basically about him on a journey to survive after getting fucked real hard, like like getting wrecked like to the ultimate level lah. So okay, the reason why this was so impactful, right, was because I actually watched it with my dad, and like back then we just put it up on the screen and just both of us enjoying the movie, and it was like a super awesome movie lah. And also a fun fact about the movie, right, because they wanted to shot entirely in like natural light. So every day they were at I don't know where is that exact location that they filmed at, but every day they only had about 3 to 5 hours of daylight time. Correct me if I'm wrong, someone, but it's about that time, and they just filmed the entire movie with natural light. Like if anyone that is into film would know that that's fucking insane. I'm not into films, but I know that is a fucking crazy thing to do. So
Yeah.
let's say they wanted to film something like people take like thousands of takes, and if they were to like do something wrong, like someone will do something wrong, they have to wait for another day, and it's insane. And I can tell you that because of the director's commitment to do that, right? Like to shoot purely in natural light, it really ended up being a super beautiful movie. Like if you guys really have the chance, right, I highly recommend you guys to go watch it because the cinematography is insane, like legit.
Hmm.
Yeah, but what about you guys?
When you mention blockbuster movies, right?
Mm.
Obviously Marvel movies come to mind because like Marvel
Yes.
movies have been the prime in their prime like in recent years lah. Like
Yep,
it's
yep, yep.
always topping the box office in many different categories.
Okay.
But when you talk about other movies, right? The best movie I've watched recently, in my opinion, would have to be The Martian. I don't know why. I just love science fiction and I love the thought of
Mm.
like just basically humanity doing things that are impossible. So basically the story of The Martian. Have you guys watched it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You all should know what it is, right? It's
Do
basically
it for the viewers. Yeah.
this guy who went on an went together with his team to Mars to try and settle down there for a few months before being sent back to Earth lah, to collect some data on Mars. So essentially, right, the mission went horribly wrong as there was like some huge hurricane or some storm or whatever happening on Mars, right? So the whole team was trying to book it out of there lah. Then something hit this guy called Mark Watney, basically the main character who was played by Matt Damon. It hit Mark Watney in the face or something, or in the body, and he got like knocked out of sight lah, basically, and the whole crew thought he was dead. So they left without him, but actually he was alive and just trapped under the rubble. Uh, yeah. So this movie basically documents his time that he was alone on Mars and how he survived with with a limited supply of food and water. Yeah, that's basically it. You guys care to share some insight on the movie?
Yeah, as it actually, I'm sorry, I just got off a call. So yeah, the movie was really, really quite good lah. But to be honest, right, if there's really one science fiction movie that I really like apart from The Martian, it would be Interstellar. And I'm sure if like Mark being a
Hated it.
science buff, why do you hate it?
Okay,
Come on, man.
I'll explain why I hate it after you explain why you like it.
Okay, I like it because it's to me it felt the way they portray the science of relativity was very insane. Like the person being spoilers ahead, sorry. So like they were on the planet for like an hour, then when they come back, like their friends is all like old and have white hair. Like, you know, the way they portray like how time moves differently with like on different planet and with different people. I don't know, I just thought that was like super interesting. Yeah, and I'm sure Zheng Hong, yourself, you also watched Interstellar and
I
The
watched
Martian,
all.
right?
Okay, I've watched Gravity, Interstellar, and Martian. But out of all three, I would say my favorite would still be Gravity.
I knew you were gonna say that. I know we had this talk
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't know years
I
ago
love
about
Gravity.
this.
It was one of my, like, it's up there in my list.
Okay, like can you share why? Because okay, I never actually watched Gravity myself, but I heard that Gravity was quite boring.
Yeah,
Like,
I never
heard
watched
from,
Gravity
like,
as well.
Yeah, I heard from like at least 3 to 4 people that told me that they went to watch and they're just like, what the fuck am I watching? You know?
Depends on perspective. Because
Okay.
just a short summary, it's about astronauts who were stranded in space after their shuttle was stuck in mid-orbit.
Oh,
Their attempts to subsequently return to Earth from the stranded shuttle.
I noticed that a lot of these movies involve like people being stranded.
Yeah, right. God damn it.
all three of these movies mention like they have people being stranded.
Stranded somewhere, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, but I think it's interesting lah. Like we all have, okay, we all of us basically have our different favorites when it comes to this. And okay, this brings me to the next point, right? So do you think that all this movie like ultimately affect you as a person? Like how you talk, the way you carry yourself. Like for me myself, like since when I was younger, I was into science, like yeah, but not really that crazy, right? So after I watched like Interstellar and like Revenant, like when I watched Revenant, that's when I realized that I actually like looking at very nice cinematography. Like it actually shaped me to who I am. So like, is there any like about these movies that you guys talk about? Is there any particular thing that really really affected you? Like okay, Mark, what about you? Go.
For me, I don't think movies have affected my character as a person, but it's definitely affected my way of thinking. Like, for example, when you watch Interstellar and all these sci-fi movies, right? You think about all the possibilities humanity has in the future, and
Okay.
you just can't help but just wonder what we can achieve, like in the near future or in the far future, whether time travel will be possible and all that. But as a character, right, I don't think movies have affected me much. It's more like my life experiences that matter more to me as
Yeah,
a person.
that's very true. What about you, Zhong?
Same for me. I feel it's more of a way for us to, as viewers, to reflect on ourselves after watching the movie. For example, I take it back to Gravity again, when the astronauts are stranded in mid-space where you have no contact to Earth. We can see how the human is actually so fragile. We actually left with, we're only left with our brain. So it's how we use it and
Yeah, I think I get what you're trying to say because
Yeah.
the entire reason why I watch Walking Dead, if there's anyone that still watches Walking Dead,
Boo.
yeah, it's a shit movie. I shit series. I don't even know why
didn't
I'm
watch
watching
it.
it. Yeah, but basically the whole reason why I watch it is because they show the desperation of people. Like, what lengths would you go to get something done?
I
Like
think
when
they're
it comes to
I think they're
survival and
past
all that.
desperation now. I think they're just batshit crazy at this point.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I'm not even gonna defend the series because it's pretty trash right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, so just to segue, right? So what do you guys think? Like, okay, because all these movies and all these series that we talk about is always made by almost always now, like all these blockbusters, always made by Western, like the Westerners, right? Like people from like the US, like people from like the Americas, lah. So do you think that it really affected like Singapore, like you know we all know that Singapore is like super Westernized, right?
Hmm.
Like
In a way,
what is some of the
yes.
things? What are some of the things that you think like really rubbed off like as a society? Like you guys have any insight on that? Like, what about you, Zheng Hong, can go?
The society for Singapore, you mean?
Yeah, like so what? Because okay, we are always like I'm sure this is not the first time you heard this. Like, we are all like the millennials, especially, is very westernized. Not only by movies lah, but like what is your take on like what do you think like that we are being so westernized? Like, is there a good point to it, or is there any particular thing that you think that it's very stand out? You get what I'm trying to
Western
say?
culture? No, not really. Sorry.
How do I put this?
Basically,
Yeah,
how has it affected our culture in making us more accepting of the Western way of thinking?
thank you. Yes, I
Oh,
finished in my mouth today.
yes.
Yes. So like yeah, I mean like what are some of the examples? Like okay, myself, right? Like I would think that I'm super westernized. Like as in I'm not saying like I'm like very like fluent in English, like not that kind of thing. But the way I think is very westernized, like also which also mean that I'm more open-minded. Like that's what I think the society has become. Like we have been exposed to so many things like on YouTube and on Netflix, like So like what about you, Mark? Like is there any particular thing that you feel that you are like how do I put it? You have became more westernized because of the shows and the entertainment you consume.
Uh, I'm not necessarily sure I've been completely westernized. I'm still quite conservative in my kind of thinking lah. But
Mm,
Western movies have definitely allowed me to be more open-minded. Like you
mm,
said, in the sense that I'm more willing to accept the things out of like social norms in Asia lah. For example, like uh
yeah.
the premarital yeah, and I've been more like you mentioned that 60 years ago in Singapore and you'll be like probably stoned to death
Yeah.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally
In
agree.
recent
My
ages,
parents.
because this
Yeah.
is so apparent in movies lah, so it's a normal thing in like the movies that we watch, the TV series that we watch, that we've also as a generation slowly become more used to seeing this kind of thing, ah.
Yeah.
And as a result we've become more open-minded to this.
What about you, Zheng Hong? What are some things that do you still feel that you are like? Are you like? Do you consider yourself like more westernized?
Westernized. I
Yeah.
would say it's a mix of both. I still would like to retain my Chinese heritage, Chinese culture, because I still enjoy, uh,
Still enjoy the ang
Chinese.
paos, ah.
Yep.
Who doesn't, man? Come on. I would say
Hmm.
yeah, take the open-mindedness of the Western culture and take the discipline and values of the more conservative Chinese culture.
Yeah,
Yeah. As in,
I
okay,
think a
but
healthy mix is
basically,
good.
yeah, I know. Like basically, I'm trying to round up, right? But what point I'm trying to bring across, right? Is basically I'm trying to say like actually all this entertainment is making us way more westernized than we think. Like what Mark touched on was like super true. Like back then, if you were to even mention things like premarital sex, right? That's like you're gonna die from that shit.
Hmm.
And like now everybody is so open minded, and I would like bet that there's a lot of millennials, a lot of like Singaporean teenagers, right, that would think that they are more westernized than they think because of YouTube and because of Netflix and all that. Okay, so just
Do you
to
think? Yeah.
sorry, go
Don't
you
you
go.
think that this ability
Mm,
to information outside of Singapore has made a majority of the people less disciplined in a sense because they think that being open, being more casual, it's widely accepted now.
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, sorry, Mark.
The media is a double-edged thing, you know. It can sometimes help you in your way of thinking, and it can sometimes uh negatively affect you in the way you do things as well. For example,
Mm.
maybe in the past people were more hardworking and were more willing to put in effort lah, but maybe media has affected us in a way that uh might be a bit more negative in the way
Yeah,
we do things.
yeah. I would say like yeah, it's good to be to take in different like good points from different culture, right? But let's not be crazy and like totally accept it. Like, don't be a Logan Paul,
Hmm.
right? Like, if you were to follow follow and go to a suicide forest and do shit like this, ain't got it's
Bo.
really not good lah, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to segue, right? I'm sorry that was like, I know it's a super wide topic, but I just want to touch on it because I feel that it's a social norm in Singapore, not only in Singapore but in a lot of countries. And I just want to talk about it. So just a segue, right? We are here to talk about upbringing also. So like as a child, like since like now it's very different, right? Like the parents, these young parents that we have now, are, like the way they teach children is very different. So like a question out to you two, like did y'all get bitten like when you were a kid? Like Zheng Hong.
Oh, I got beat.
Yeah,
My
I
ass
got my
got
ass
whooped.
whooped, man.
Yeah.
When I was
Asian
especially
parents,
in my
yo.
yeah
Yep, Asian
primary school
parents.
when
Yeah.
I do my homework like frequently. So my teachers would call my father, and then when I get home, my ass would get like whooped straight
Oh,
out.
but do you think it's the right thing to do? Like, if let's say you were a parent, right, would you do the same? Like,
I wouldn't say that it's right, but neither would I say that it has been bad for my upbringing because
hmm.
man, you
Yeah,
learn.
basically, yeah. Okay. You know what? I totally agree with you. Like, if let's say, I don't think beating your child is like, of course, moderation, right?
Mm.
But when I mean beating, it's more like disciplining, lah. Like when I was a kid, like when I had things here, right? Like spelling, Chinese spelling, and I were to do wrongly something, and I'll get whooped if I didn't get full marks or like for something like that, for example. And because of that, like I have became more disciplined right after like my primary school education, because I know that, oh my god, if I don't do well, like it ain't gonna end up well for me lah. You know, the
Yeah.
kind of mindset that I have. Like, yeah, Mark, what about you?
I got my ass handed to me as a child, man. My mom, whenever like, okay, I was a very fucking shit. I was a shit ass child with a shit ass attitude. Towards work. I never liked doing my homework. In primary three, I was the only guy in class who like never did a single piece of homework. And my
Okay.
teacher got so pissed off, right, that she called my mom every day to tell her the homework.
Sounds like
And
me.
if I didn't do any homework, right, she will be waiting at home with a cane in her hands.
Oh
And
man.
that is the moment I know I fucked up. Yeah. Uh so I would say that okay, maybe like beating your kids to the point of death is not good lah. As
You don't say, but
yeah,
okay.
in many countries they still do this. Like they beat their child mercilessly. I've seen videos of it in China. I've seen videos of it in India lah. But in
Mm.
moderation, I think it's fine. It certainly
Yeah.
helped in my upbringing. It certainly uh affected me as a person to make me work
Who you are now, lah.
harder. Yeah,
Mm.
like you know what are the consequences of you not behaving or not doing what you're supposed to do lah.
Yeah.
You understand that every action has a consequence. And
Mm.
I've seen kids in America where their parents don't even beat them and they just lie around in public and just start screaming and shouting because they don't get what they want. Yeah,
Mm.
I can imagine myself being that kind of sport brat uh if I don't get beaten. So
Mm.
I feel like being beaten teaches you discipline, it teaches you self-control.
Mm.
Uh I'm not against it. I'm not
For it
uh
either,
I'm not
right?
for it in the sense that if you have other ways of disciplining your child that is better, you do you. You know what I mean?
Mm. 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 Yeah.
Every parent has a different way of doing things. Ultimately, it's the end goal that matters, and that your child grows up to be a person who is like able to, conform to
Yeah.
societal standards.
Yeah. 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 I get it. Yeah. So, what about you? Like, do you think that it's like it's okay? Like, if let's
I
say,
would.
Sorry.
I'll say that it sets boundaries. It draws the line really, really clearly that, oh, you're not supposed to do this. And on the other hand, oh, it's acceptable to do this. So there are certain boundaries that you will learn not to cross,
Mm. Yeah,
having
which
been gone through
yeah,
this experience.
yeah, which I
It
think it's good
helps.
lah. It's good lah. Okay, for me, I think if I wasn't like what Mark touched on, right? Let's say I wasn't whooped when I was a child, like I would be such a spoiled ass brat, man.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like throughout your life, like when you go poly, you go secondary school even, or like when you're in NS, right? You have probably met that two people, two person that's like super spoiled.
Oh,
But like that's
definitely, most
right.
definitely, man.
Okay, so let me just give me like share a personal experience of mine. So I used to have this friend of mine. Okay, I'm not gonna say who, I'm not gonna say where, but basically he like wherever he go, right, his parents just send him. And like it's like to me, okay, you might think that oh it's because of convenience, right? No, it's not. Like it's at the age of like 19, 20, right? Like you need to go anywhere, you go yourself, unless like it's really very far or whatnot, right? Like some of y'all might think like oh letting someone to send you somewhere is a simple thing, it's a small thing, right? But it became what if it become like a daily thing? Like
A
I've known
habit.
someone that's like that. Yeah, like yeah, if you don't send me, then I'm not gonna go. You know, that kind of attitude. Which is to me, it's like if let's say I was whooped as a child, I would know that doing that is not cool. Because what they are doing is doing that to their parents, right? And the fact that their parents even okay for them to do it, it's kind of weird for me. I don't know. You know, I'm really like programmed not to think that's okay. You know. What about you guys? What about some like experiences that you guys like had that had this kind of like spoiled bread? Yeah.
Zheng Hong, do you have any?
Not really. Spoiled brats, not really, but just people with they're unaware of their bad attitude. Like they're
Like
hunting,
they
they are very
like being like someone actually once told me this that like they feel like the word is like these people are very sheltered, which I
like
think is the
princesses.
best way to explain. Yeah, it's the best way to explain because they haven't met like the harshness of the world. Okay, it's not like getting beaten up is like as a child is very jialat lah, but you know like at least we already know like oh shit if you like what Mark say if I were to do something, I'm gonna get punished for it, and they haven't felt that yet. So
These people should understand that in
mm,
life, not everything goes your way. If you're
yes,
handed everything on a silver platter when you're a child, right? When you grow
mm,
up, you won't be able to accept, you won't be able to handle rejection, you won't be able to handle not getting what you want. You'll face obstacles along the way. It's how you pick yourself up as a person that
mm,
truly
mm,
defines who you are.
Okay, so just to like segue into another topic, right? So talking about upbringing, like as a child, like have you ever feel that like Singapore is like a super competitive society? I'm sure that you guys feel that way, right? Like
Definitely.
yeah, as a young child, do you think that you have been pressured, like even like when you are in primary school, like at how old are you, like 7 years old, like all the way to secondary school? Do you ever feel that pressure from your parents, or like you guys were like your parents were like all cool about it? Like, Zheng Hong, what about you?
1 to 3, not at all, because I was doing really fine. Then when I reached primary 4, everything just hit me. I started failing my subjects, especially like math, Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
Back then I was really bad in Chinese, so I had to go for tuition classes for twice per week. So that in a sense is
But
subconsciously I was pressured into um,
doing better, lah, right?
doing better. Yes, it's becomes a norm that you're supposed to do well.
But the pressure that did it came from like is like my own pressure, like you pressure yourself, or like was it like from a place like your parents or your
No,
friends or your peers? Yeah.
back then I didn't really understand the importance of doing well for exams. To me, it was just numbers. 40 out of 100. They're just numbers to me. I'm just looking forward to my holidays after my exams. So I didn't understand the importance of getting good results, getting into a good school till like
Mm.
secondary school.
Yeah.
So back then, my motivation for work was mainly my father being scary as hell, legit scary as hell. So
Amen to that.
I was pressured by him to do my work. But I'm glad to say,
You all worked out, right?
yeah, it worked out really well.
Yeah. What about you, Mark? Like as a child. Yeah.
Okay, as a child, right, primary 1 to 2 wasn't a problem. I always got like pretty like on the high end of the spectrum lah. But when it came to primary 3, right, oh god, that was when I started not giving a shit about school. And I didn't do any homework. I failed a lot of my subjects, and I just didn't give a shit lah. So it continued all the way until primary five, where after I got like endless ass whoopings, I decided to step up my game and just studied. And in primary
Mm.
six, I after like countless numbers of tuition, I think I had like 3 to 4 tuitions per week, and I decided to step up my game for PSLE, and I got a pretty decent score, not too good,
How much did you
220,
get?
220.
That's okay, I
Pretty
guess.
decent score, better than what I got, like better than what I would have gotten if I didn't study, if I went the way I was lah.
Mm.
And in secondary school, okay, let me just be real with you guys. Sec one and sec two, I was a shit tier child. I
Okay.
was getting last in place in class, uh, because I absolutely hated school. Uh,
Mm.
I was pretty decent in maths, and my sciences, but home economics and design and tech. Oh, I hated those. I never even did a single homework. I never even went for the examination for
Not,
D&T.
not even once?
What? Even till secondary
Yeah,
school.
I didn't even go for the exam for D&T, bro. Yeah.
Oh god.
I never even
Bro.
finished the final project we had to turn in. And for home
Oh
ec,
my.
right? I just okay, basically we had to cook a dish for the teacher to taste lah. That is like a
Mm.
mix of Singapore uh and overseas kind
Cuisine.
of cuisine. So I combined like this Greek and Singapore dish, and
Mm-hmm. What
basically
else did
I
you
didn't give a fuck during the exam. I
do?
just
Okay.
put the rice in the rice cooker and I sat there and just relaxed. Then I, I I just left it in the rice cooker for like 2 minutes and I took it out. It wasn't even cooked. So
What
the
the
rice was
fuck?
crunchy as shit.
Sushi.
Then I cooked the chicken. I just put it in the pot for like 2 minutes as well. And I took it out and then just put it on the plate and served it to my teacher.
The fuck?
So
Dude, come
she
on,
had
man.
one taste, she spit it out, and then she said next, please.
Oh my god.
uh, that was
That's
probably
horrible,
not
dude.
the best moment of my life. Yeah, and then I
Mm,
got last place again for my year two as a result. And year three is the moment where I could choose what I wanted to take for my O levels. So I chose combined sciences, and I chose triple maths, basically POA, A maths, and E maths.
mm.
Uh, and in year three, I think I improved a bit. I got 32nd out of 40 in my class.
Well, it's something.
It's something. It's 8 place improvement.
Well, you went from
Um,
raw chicken to 32 plays. Come on.
yeah, those
Give
those
that man a clap. Alright.
Yes,
those
rare
eight
chicken.
places were like improved because there was no D&T and home ec anymore. Then
All
in
right.
secondary four, I realized, oh shit, boy, what am I doing in my life? And I really, I was really blessed lah, to be honest. I got this really, really good tuition teacher, and I really got a really, really good secondary school teacher
Mm,
in during my sec 4 year lah.
mm.
Basically, my A maths was like getting like 4 out of 100 at sec 3. End of
Not
sec 3.
even.
Yeah,
Four
yeah.
of a hundred.
4 out of
Damn,
100.
you need like a certain level of skill to get
Yeah.
that point. Four.
Basically, I didn't know what the hell A maths was. But E maths
Mm,
I was scoring pretty decent. I was scoring like 80 plus, 90 plus.
okay.
My sciences were like B, the rest of my subjects were like B. And I was really blessed lah because this sec 4 was the period where I actually bucked up because of these teachers. They were like constantly motivating me, constantly pushing me to be my best.
Mm.
And as a result, I did pretty decent for prelims. I got like 14 points for my L1 R4, and in O levels, I think I got like 10 points. I aced my A maths from like 4 points. I get all the way to A, which is
Damn.
amazing for me lah.
I guess you can say it was A
Get carried.
maths.
Get carried.
Hey.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, but I really think that it's important, lah. Like when you have that one teacher that really like moved you.
But
Yeah, I'm not gonna bore you guys like about my backstory, right? But like back then when I was in sec three, like the same as you, then you have to choose the subject you want to take for O level, right?
mm,
So I was in maths class, and we had this one teacher that was like super like motivating. Like it made the entire class want to like every day after class, like voluntarily stay back to like just learn maths and and talk about like just practicing maths together. And that's not something you hear from a teenager. Everybody hated maths like last time. But
Interesting.
everybody, yeah, because of the teacher was super motivated and he was a super good teacher. And I'm really glad that I had him as a teacher. I didn't get A. I didn't get A1 for A maths, but I did get a B3. So that's that. But I mean, I wasn't the top tier maths student, but I think I was pretty decent and I think I did improve like when O level eventually came.
Yeah, I have to mention, right, that I wouldn't have gotten the results I've gotten for my O levels and be able to go to poly or have the option to go to JC without like countless numbers of tuition lessons. Uh, I know that parents nowadays have to go through like to have to put their child through tuition lessons in order for the child to remain competitive in today's education society lah. And I know it takes a lot of their money to actually put their child through all of it, but they know that it's for their best.
It's all worth it.
It's all worth it. They feel like it's worth it lah. But is it really fair for children to be in this kind of competitive society from a young age? From 7 years old, you're already put in a society uh, where everyone is like competing from the start to be the best,
Yeah.
to end up in a good uh
School.
good secondary school after your primary school and to end up in a good course or JC after your O levels. Like, is it fair for children to be put in such a situation from a young age? Because what I feel, right, as a child, right, you should be enjoying your years, doing the things that you love, finding more about yourself, rather than be put in this situation. At the age of 16, right, O levels. Okay, after that, we're done with O levels. We have to choose either poly or JC, right? Uh, and if we choose to go poly, we are 16 year old. What do we know? We don't know what we like. We don't know what we want in life. We have to choose a course that will basically set ourselves up for the next 10, 20 years in the future. And if we choose wrongly, right, we're screwed.
Yep.
That's basically it. Like if I'm a person, right, who hates sitting in an office or who but I don't know it yet and I choose accounting, oh god, I'm in for a hell of a ride. I'm in for the
Yeah.
next 10, 20 years. I'm gonna sit in an office and die of boredom. Yeah, you're basically asking your child to go and choose what he wants for the future without him
Yeah,
knowing
but
anything.
the thing is, right, like I get that, like that's a fair point, like for sure. But the thing is it necessary for like that's the question I ask myself, like, is it necessary? Like you talk about going to tuition, like to stay competitive and all that, right? Like back then when I was in secondary school, like I had tuition and going to tuition actually made my result worse. So to me that wasn't necessary. And also like to drive home like what you said, which I totally agree, is that at 16, right, you really do not know what you want to do. And it's not the first time I heard like people that actually went to like a business, like because we are all three of us from business course, right? So that there are people that they went business course, then after that they just like, you know what, I found out I don't really like the all this accounting, all this like marketing and all that shit, and fuck it, I'm just gonna do something else. So because I actually had this friend that I saw her like in year one, like in my class, then we like I forgot her name. So like we hang out for a bit. Then she suddenly like dropped out, and then she went to pursue like entire thing altogether. And not everybody is lucky enough to like know what you want to do the moment you go into business. You get
Yeah,
what I mean?
man. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, go.
Some people actually go through like 3 years of Polytechnic, then after that go to university, then they realize, oh shit, I don't really want this shit. I know plenty of people who have like experienced this situation before.
Mm. Which is sad because I mean we kind of can't run away from this, right? Like in Singapore, it's either you choose to continue like math, science, and everything in JC, or you want to choose something else in poly. And if your results ain't that well, then you have to go ITE, right? Like basically, this is the segment that we have,
Like
which
the
I get it.
mainstream norm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I get it, but it's like maybe I wouldn't say it's not fair to do it, but it's more of like we are not prepared. Like it's
Yeah.
just weird.
I know
Like it
this
doesn't make a lot of sense.
I know this
Yeah.
guy who has a bachelor in and like computer engineering and all that, right? He
Mm.
was he went through so many years of engineering and end up, right, 10 years later he's working in real estate. He has nothing to do with engineering because he doesn't like that shit.
Oh God.
Yeah.
And
Well,
when
well,
do you think is the right time to, like choose what you really want to do in life? Like at which age or which
I think 16 is really way too early for anyone to like choose what they want for a future career lah. I think actually maybe 18. 18 I think should be the minimum age. 21 would be the perfect age for someone because they've matured as an adult, they know what they want already.
Mm.
Yeah, but 16 is way too early, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
but the sad thing is like we live in the basically like in this kind of like competitive society, right? They if we don't start early, it's very bad for us also. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Which is kind of sad. If let's say I don't choose. Okay, let's say I want to do accounting, but I end up in engineering, and let's say I only realize that 3 years later. So
But get a
after
head start from.
yes, so like by the time I decided to drop out, I would have wasted 3 years. Then I will start off my year one in accounting, which I am actually interested in. 3 years later, then after I have to go to NS as a guy. By the time I come out, like how old am I already?
yeah.
You
People
see
say
the
it's
issue?
not a race, it's a marathon, but no, I think it's more of a race than a marathon. People are always
Yeah.
striving to compete with each other. People are always striving to get one up against each other lah. And
Mm.
it's not a healthy society to be in that sense where you're always competitive.
But the funny thing is, like that, I have to disagree with you. I do not think that it's not healthy. I think it's good because it actually gives people the drive.
Yeah, it
Like
gives people a drive, lah, but it puts unnecessary stress on children from a young age, in my opinion.
yeah, I which is like the it's kind of a how to say it's a problem that you it's like it's very contradicting
Mm.
like you want to
Good.
start early, you want to start early so that you will do better, but if you don't know what you want to do, then how do you start early?
Yeah,
Like you go into this like very like it's like a paradox,
yeah.
you know, which is kind of sad lah. Like what do you think, Zheng Hong? Like do you
So
think like
for me, I feel it's more of trial and error.
mm-hmm,
It's more like try, right?
mm-hmm,
So for example, you study
accounting,
you specialize in marketing for your degree, but most people out there after getting the degree, they end up
doing something
give
that
the
they
time they don't do marketing. They end up
yeah
somewhere else. So more of a certificate because what look at now it's more whether do you have a degree. They don't really care what kind of degree you study.
Yeah.
which
It's more of
okay that's
whether
the
you
thing,
have a
right?
degree
Like
or not.
some like I get this argument, like I get it, like yeah, they always say like oh degree is just a paper, like you get the degree then whatever you do most likely wouldn't be whatever you're learning, right? Like yeah, I get it, but if let's say if that's what everybody thinks, right, like it's dangerous. Let's say I want to as an employer, right, and I want to employ someone, and then like I can't take it as it's just a paper. You get what I mean?
I want to go for
So,
someone with a specialization in what I want them to
right.
hire, what I want to hire that position for.
Correct. Which is
Honestly, if you're just a fresh graduate, I know you have studied, for example, marketing, but doesn't mean you can do well. You just know you have the knowledge, you have the documentations to prove that you are certified to do marketing. But
mm,
it's the same as someone, for example, who jumped from engineering, then he decided to do marketing. You still start from the same starting platform.
yeah, but I think the thing about it being just a cert, right, it would only apply after your first job. So like after your first job, then you have the relevant experience, right? Your
Yeah,
degree
yeah. Experience
wouldn't.
is more important.
Yeah, experience is more important. But like yeah, I get what you're trying to say, Zheng. But like if let's say as an employer, right, it wouldn't make sense for me to hire someone else that is not specialized, like for example, which is
True
sad
that.
because so like we all came from like a general business degree business diploma, right? We all already went to that problem of being
It's too broad.
not being specialized, which is whoever that's listening now that's younger than when you're still supposed to choose, please don't choose
16.
something general. Don't be like us.
Actually,
Bad life
I
choices.
think it's fine to choose something general so long as you choose a specialization later on in life because this general diploma, right, it
Stepping
gives you
stone, right?
it's a stepping stone. Yeah, it gives you breathing space. You can basically go into any sector of business that you like. You can go into logistics, you can go into marketing, you can go into sales, you can go
Mm,
into HR, accounting, anything that you want. But you won't be promoted as fast as a person with a specialization in the diploma per se, or
mm,
a bachelor degree in it. That's why you have to choose something more specialized in university if you go to university lah.
mm.
Uh, it gives you that little bit of breathing space to have a bit of freedom in your choice in a sense. I
Mm.
think that's quite advantageous for people also.
Basically, what we are trying to drive home is that if you most likely at that young age, right, I don't think you'll be able to know what you want anyway. If you really do, like, yeah, good to you. Like, you should go whatever you want to do, right? Like, I'm a firm believer on like whatever you want to do, you should do, kind of thing. But
Happy.
then again, if you really don't know what to do, like what I felt like when I was like 16 years old, right? And so I decided to go for a diploma that is more general. And yeah, I mean, I don't regret going lah. I did meet nice people. I did have relevant experience and all that. But when it comes to like what a lot of people tell me, if let's say I were to like have any like I want to go get a job, if someone else have a specialization, right, confirm gone,
Mm.
which is kind of sad lah.
That's
Yeah.
why if you really don't know what you want, after your O levels, I suggest you choose a course that is very general, so that you can actually branch out in the future. If you choose something specialized, right, like maybe engineering or let's say accountancy, you cannot take any other things in the future. You can't go to you can't jump from you can't jump from business to engineering when you go to university. It's gonna be too much of a leap. It's gonna be very hard on you. If you can
Correct.
do it, then go on you. And let's say if you want to go from accounting to suddenly marketing, that's not gonna work out for you as well.
Mm.
It's too different a subject, too different a topic.
Yeah,
That's why I
it's
choose a
really
general
it
thing.
really boils down. Yeah, it really boils down to like what's the path you want to take. And I think we all make mistakes lah. I mean, I don't think it is a mistake, but of course it could have been a better choice. If you know what I'm trying to say.
For me,
Like I,
yeah, you were
mm,
saying?
sorry, yeah, you go.
Okay, for me, choosing DBA, business admin, right, was the best decision in my life, like, because I really found out more about myself, more about the person I
No,
am,
because
what
you
I
met
want in
me,
life.
right?
Yeah, I met you. That's
Yeah,
why, that's why I
that
became
was why,
the person
right?
I am.
Right.
Nah, but
Come on,
in all
man.
Don't
seriousness,
lie.
uh, it helped me become the person I am today.
Mm,
Become more outgoing, become more focused on my goals in the future, basically.
mm,
Make
yeah.
me know what I want.
Mhm.
So
So, do you have any regret like joining DBA though?
I have zero regrets joining
Mm,
DBA. The only regret.
DBA,
Oh,
I
you're
wouldn't
talking to
say
Zheng
I
Hong. Sorry,
regret.
Yeah.
sorry, sorry.
But I was like, mom.
Sorry, sorry.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
wouldn't say I would regret joining DBA, but more as a general getting a diploma.
Mm.
I didn't regret it, but there are some thoughts that why didn't I go to JC? It would have been so much easier to enter a local uni now that I think about it.
Yeah, this
Mm,
topic. Yeah. I
It's
mean,
like
it's hard to avoid lah. Like, I mean, I
yeah,
recently
it's
had
one
this
of the
thought. Like,
setbacks.
yeah, and it's honestly, to be perfectly frank, I think it's a very big setback. Like you being able to go local university and not being able to, right? Like it's actually quite a big deal lah. But I mean, at the end of
It's
the day, it's
really
still
big.
yeah, it's still up to you whether you can get it. I know friends that gone poly and still do well and be able to go
yeah.
local U.
At the end of the day, right, hindsight is 50-50. You might not,
Mm.
it might not go the way you want if you actually chose it, lah. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I like how we all say this because we are under 3.7.
Mm.
I chose poly because very playful person, so I was afraid I was going to retain year one, so I didn't want to take the chance.
Actually, I know
Mm.
plenty of people who have uh got retained in year one, right? Then they just straight away went to poly and didn't regret it.
Yep, I know people that went 2 years in JC, then went poly.
Mm.
I have a
Like,
senior
mhm.
than us. He's 23 now.
Okay.
He's currently our junior in terms of education wise.
Oh fuck! But have you served NS though?
Yeah, he's done. He
Huh?
went from poly to JC and he retained 2 years in JC.
What? Wait, that means he served finish poly or like no?
No, he finished his JC before he went in NS.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Okay, that's
wow.
like the total opposite of what you people usually do.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess what you call a rare case, huh?
But it doesn't matter lah, so long as he's happy lah with where he's at lah, so long as he can get into university. Hopefully, he is lah.
Really.
Not
Yeah. We all have these kind of moments where we really start like, hey, I should have gone this, I should have gone that. But I think things iron out lah.
yeah.
I like myself, I haven't thought about this, but yeah, I don't regret going to DBA lah. There's so many experiences and people that I've met
For
that
me,
made
yeah,
it possible, made it great lah.
yeah, for me, I really appreciate where I am right now. I
Mm.
wouldn't have become the person I am right now if I had made different choices, like in my opinion. If I had gone JC, I'll probably end up the same as I was before, which is pretty bad. uh,
Raw
yeah,
chicken, guys.
as I said,
Eat it
hindsight is
up.
50-50. Anything could have gone differently if you had chosen a different course in life.
Mm. Yeah,
and we
but
should be contented with the way we are.
yeah, for sure, man. Like, yeah, I'm glad we are talking about this because I think there's a lot of people that like is actually thinking about whether to go JC or poly because I think okay there is a stereotype like like or poly is like we don't study or like those kind of thing, but like wow the amount of like consistency you must have is crazy, man.
The amount of drama.
So the amount, amount of drama,
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
Not every day you meet a Gibson, so there's that.
Yeah, Gibson creates the most drama, guys.
Hey,
King.
stop it. Don't say something. Okay, are we running out of time?
uh, yeah, I think so.
Okay, can. So yeah, today we touch on a few things. We touch on um Netflix, movies, series, and also upbringing. And also, I just want to say that there's a fish in my mouth today. I don't know why am I talking like this.
What fish in your
So,
mouth?
like I have, like I keep like,
Nah, it's fine, it's fine.
fight me. Whoever that
Fight.
say I have a speech problem, fight me.
Fuck.
Catch
Fuck
me
your
outside. How about that?
your list.
That is a dead meme.
Alright.
All right, guys. Thank you, Zheng Hong, for joining us. Always welcome. If you want to come
Problem.
again.
Love to join you.
Anytime, and just hit him up because he's single and ready to mingle. Yeah.
Me too.
And Mark also. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. See you again at episode 3.
Alright, thanks everyone for joining us. Bye.
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 Bye.